In this video, we're going to make an ice cream cake, very similar to one that you would purchase from Dairy Queen. You'll need a KitchenAid mixer, springform pan, spatula, flat cookie sheet or pan, and parchment paper. Listed on the screen are the ingredients you'll also need. Just a note that while this cake is extremely easy to make, it does take some time since you have to put it in the freezer and do a step and then put it back in several times. So one of the key components of making an ice cream cake is having a springform pan, like this one here. And so, but you're gonna want to actually take out the bottom, like so. And then you'll be using wax paper to actually set the cake on. And then what you're gonna want to use is you're gonna want to use a pan such as this one. You could really use anything, but these fit in the freezer quite well. And it also fits the springform pan. So when you're starting on this, you're actually building the cake backwards. So the first layer is actually on top. So we bought 2 of these 1.5 quarts of ice cream. And then just putting it in a mixer to soften it. So the whole point of softening up the ice cream is so you can easily spread it. So you're going to want to start on the sides and go all around the springform pan. So once you've gone all around the sides, you can take what's left over and fill the bottom and just spread it around. And you want to work somewhat quickly because you don't want the ice cream to melt too much. So this is about ready to go into the freezer. So one of the fun things about making a ice cream cake is you can really pick the toppings. You know, you can pick 2 different types of ice cream, and then you can pick whatever the filling is. So this one's going to be kind of your standard Oreo filling. So put them in a bag, and then we're just going to smash them up. And then you'll obviously want to keep some of them whole because we'll use them to decorate the top of the cake at the very end. So once your Oreos or whatever you decide to use are all crunched up, just sprinkle them right ahead on the cake. And spread them around. So now you're going to want to make the inside filling of the cake. For this one, we're making our own caramel, but you can make your own fudge, you could buy your own fudge, you could put in peanut butter, you could put in a strawberry sauce, you can pretty much use anything that you want. This is another area where you can get pretty creative. So we have a 1/2 cup of butter in here, and then we're adding 1 cup of brown sugar. Once the caramel starts boiling, you're going to want to stir it for 2 minutes until it is thick. And then take your cake out of the freezer and pour the sauce in the center. Once you're done with that, put it back in the freezer. The next step is to get your other 1.5 quart of ice cream, and it's the same process of mixing it up until it's soft. Next, take your cake out of the freezer and spread the other ice cream on top of it. Once you're done with this, you'll want to put it back in the freezer to completely harden. Once your cake has had time to harden, take it out of the freezer, and then what you're going to want to do is flip it upside down and peel off the parchment paper. The next part is a little bit tricky. So you'll want to undo the springform pan, and then what we had to do in this instance is really take a knife and go all around the entire cake to loosen it up. You may have better luck than we did with this one, but eventually we were able to get it out of the springform pan. Next, you'll want to use whipped cream and spread it all around the cake. As an option, you can also use whipping cream instead of whipped cream. For this cake, since we're using Oreos, we decided to decorate the top of the cake with Oreos and then use sprinkles. Here's a finished look at our cake. Hope you enjoy. And you'll want to pop off the bottom.
Redo this.
So it is almost to boil.
Wrong. Stop.
Okay, so it is just about boiling. You're going to want to bring it to the light boil for 2 minutes.
It is boiling right now. Hurry.
What do I say?